left last year, you're not looking as hot.
Yeah.
Granted, you still got the talent, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Can you do me one more favor and just test again?
Sure. The other favor is one more coming up from the Blues and Barbecue from Lonnie's Workshop in downtown Blue Ridge.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
3 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
We're back. We got a familiar face back with us today. Good
Great.
to see you, brother.
Yeah, chow.
Hi, Joe. Yeah, that's right.
That's the only word I learned.
That's it.
Oh, yeah, and prego.
Yeah, prego.
Prego. That's not cheese, by the way.
That's right.
That means it's okay or thank you or
That's right.
whatever. Yeah, that chow means hello.
I mean, they answer the phone with it.
Prego. It sounds like cheese, doesn't it?
That's it. Grated Parmesan.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And the other one, and the other one was prosciutto. You know, you get the prosciutto's ham and prego is thank you or hello or whatever it is, and that sounds pretty much the same to me. Yeah, right. All right. But anyway, it's very good.
Anyway, we're delighted to have Dr. Whaley back with us today. Had a great Friday last week with Dr. Ray Tidman.
I've told you before. You know, people say this ain't rocket scientist, but he is a rocket scientist. You did remember that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's an astronautical, I can't even say it, astronautical engineer physician. Aeronautical engineer physician with some sort of specialty in, don't ask me. It's way past. I'm the guy that can't even work the cell phone, so don't ask me about aeronautical engineer.
We are here this morning. Brian is away visiting family, and we're delighted to be here this morning. This is our wonderful Ask the Doc segment, brought to you by North Georgia Cancer Research Center, associated with Northside Hospital. Every Friday morning, Dr. Whaley comes to us and shares some stories, shares his expertise, and if you want to ask the doc a question, you can always email it to info@fetchernews.com and put on the tagline, Ask the Doc. So let's get right into it.
I think our second question today is a follow-up of your discussion with Ray Tidman last week.
All
right, go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to talk some. Before we get into our question,
all right.
In the news lately, we've got a game show host, Alex Trebek, been with Jeopardy for 36 years. He was unfortunately diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, stage 4,
right,
which is pretty tough. He went through. He left the show for, I believe, 6 to 7 weeks. Does that sound about right for the initial?
Right. For the initial chemo, yeah.
Yeah, for the initial chemo, he left the show for 6 to 7 weeks, and he is back. And unfortunately, again, he announced to the audience that his numbers, and that's what I want to ask you about, his numbers came back way, way too high, and he's going to have to undergo a second round of chemo for his pancreatic treatment.
And he had lost 14 pounds.
14 pounds in 1 week.
1 week. Okay.
That's 2 pounds a day. I wish I could lose 2 pounds a day by accident, but I don't want the consequences associated with it.
No, maybe the second question about the flu.
There
You
you
could get
go.
that real bad for 2 weeks and lose 15 pounds. Who knows?
You know,
All right.
I thought since that was relevant in the news, a lot of people watch that show, maybe you could give some insight into actually what he's going through and what he will face.
This is our first question, basically, anyway. Okay. So, pancreatic cancer is curable only when it is caught at an extremely early stage as an accident, generally, as I've said before. You go in for a bellyache and they think you've got gallstones and they do an ultrasound and you find a tiny lump and you can get in there and remove it. Otherwise,
so when we talk about stage 4, keep in mind stage 4 is...
it's spread to your lung, your liver, lymph nodes, or something else.
It's fully metastasized.
Fully metastasized.
Got it.
And you don't, and that's the majority of patients with pancreatic cancer.
Because it's a silent killer.
Correct. And the average survival from the day of diagnosis to the day of death prior to modern generation chemotherapy was 6 weeks to 6 months. Modern generation chemotherapy puts a substantial proportion of those patients into a remission, and it did for him, that has a varying length of duration, and that length of duration in him was about 12 weeks or so, I think. But it can last as long as 18 months or longer, and I actually have patients taking low-dose non-chemotherapy that are 4 and 5 years out. They are the minority. They'd be 10% of patients that were in Trebex. So now that he's lost 14 pounds in a week, we're coming into this with our first question. His appetite's poor, his energy is poor.
He's probably suffering from some depression.
He's suffering from some depression. He does not mention pain, but he is probably having substantial pain and is having to take pain medication, which will dull his alertness. The chemotherapy itself is not going to make him sick, because we have enough medications today to prevent nausea, to prevent blood count falling, to treat blood count falling. We can't prevent hair loss, but everything else, so that the chemo itself is not going to diminish him a whole bunch. It's the progression of the disease that's going to diminish him, and it is very unlikely that a second-line chemotherapy, if I've said on this program for 5 years, you get one bite at the apple when you treat cancer. Make it your best bite. I was shocked when they said they stopped treatment on him after 12 weeks, because I personally would have treated him continuously until he got the best possible remission, and then I would have pulled out any potentially cytotoxic medications and left him on the closest thing I could get to biological therapy or easy therapy like athlete's foot or dandruff treatment, but I would never have stopped treating him. Now, I don't know that they did stop treating him. We just know that he came back to work. We don't know that he wasn't taking something else. I'm not trying to diminish what was done for him. I'm saying the way he presented it was, I took 12 weeks of treatment, 12 weeks, may not even been that long, and I'm back in the saddle again. Now, he may have been back in the saddle again and been on some suppressive therapy.
Now, when he comes back, and without getting into the weeds and getting too deep, just in general, when he comes back and he says, my numbers skyrocketed.
Okay. There, with a lot of malignancies, the one you're familiar with is PSA.
Right.
So you make a diagnosis for prostate cancer by PSA. If it starts rising after surgery, it's recurred in your body somewhere. That's your numbers.
Okay.
Okay. The number in pancreatic cancer is called a CA19-9. So that means it was elevated when he started, it dropped down into the normal range, and then it shot back up again, and it went way higher than it had been before. He said my numbers went up, and they were sky high, higher than they were before. That is directly proportional to the bulk of the tumor. So if you've got an ounce of cancer giving you a level over here, and the level doubles, then you've got 4 times as much cancer. Not double, 4 times as much, because that is inversely proportional to the square. So that'd be, if it doubles, it's 2 times 2. You'd have 4 times as much tumor.
Unfortunately, the situation that he's enduring, I mean, the morbidity rate is
100%.
Well, it is for everybody. It's just a case of how and when, right?
Correct. Yeah, but in statistical terms,
right.
Stage 4 cancer in second-line treatment is 100% fatal. It's just a matter of time. If he gets a little bit of remission, he could have a few months. If he gets no remission, it could be quite short.
And I know that he, expressed a desire to do the show 3 more years, and that's probably not.
That's not going to happen.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
We're not trying to.
No, we're not. We don't know anything about it. We have don't have his medical records. We're
Right.
making statistical judgments. I
Right.
doubt he's going to return to the show.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
Okay.
Well, that leads us into our first question.
Lonnie, you got that first one?
What are some things I can do daily to help people regain her strength after chemo?
All right. First of all, that question is really, if you get it, first of all, this really says, what are things I can do daily to help my sister regain
right.
her strength? Well, first of all, we now know this is a female.
Right.
We do not know her age. We do not know the cancer. And we do not know what kind of chemo she has taken, which to me means that this may very well be a sister in Philadelphia and the patient is in Blue Ridge or down here in Jasper or someplace or other, because it would be absolutely unthinkable. You're thinking about our colleague who's in Pennsylvania, that a person would not be involved enough way back when to have been involved in the supportive care of the patient from the day the diagnosis was reached, or at least the day treatment was begun. So that's a really good lead-in from the Alex Trebek question. This first thing says symptoms in advanced cancer. Getting chemo, we don't know if this is adjuvant chemotherapy for breast cancer or whether this is Alex Trebek. One of them over here is a patient just continuing to work full time and has to go to the doctor's office for a blood count once in a while. And you've known people up here who took it. You never knew they were doing anything. Of
course.
Except, oh, wait a minute, I can't go on Friday afternoon because I'm going to the doctor. And over here you got Alex Trebek. So the very top one, asthenia, that's not a woman's name, all right. Asthenia, that's just the whole thing of I feel tired and I don't have a whole bunch of energy. And then the second one is anorexia. That's Alex Trebek. I got 14 pounds. Anorexia means I don't want to eat. And then third is the pain. We're doing a real good job about pain. And then everything else in there is of small number. So you can pull that off, Lonnie. Put up that next one. This is where we should have been involved in this case early on. And this is just a brief outline. Starts up support. I'm going to get you one of those things like BKP has, where you can make 4 different, see 3 different things at once.
Bifocals, yeah.
No, is that what they are? Anyway,
Quadfocals.
Whatever. I don't know what it is, but if he hasn't lost them, he does a real good job of seeing every time. All right, so wait a minute. So supportive care begins on day 1. And that, as I mentioned, that we have stuff for Alex Trebek that should prevent him from having various side effects in his therapy. But if you look at the third one, just for interest, sexuality in the patient treated for cancer, we are taking. You can pull that off. I don't want people focusing, but I don't want to listen for a minute.
Listen up, folks.
We focus at the outset of the diagnosis of cancer, whether it's going to be surgery and radiation, whether it's going to be those immunotherapies, or it's going to be chemo like Alex Trebek, on the whole person. And so we begin right off the bat with how are you sleeping, what's the quality of your life, are you getting depressed, all the way down through that. It was nausea was there and everything else, all the way down to interpersonal relationships. And so it's not, it's something that you're going to be treated for 6 months. You discuss the sexuality of the individual, the relationships they have, and whatever's going on. So you would think that what can I do to help my sister get her strength back would have been
Long
page
time ago.
1. All right, so put the third one up. Now, I don't want you to feel bad.
Okay.
But you'll remember that I was one of the first people in this country to travel the United States giving talks about marathon training, weight reduction, and disease prevention. This is 1968. My talk I gave all over the world was called "Life is a 5-Card Poker Hand and No Draw." Right?
Whatever you're dealt with,
well, you got it. All right. So a guy that jacks a better game who's got a 10 high can beat a guy with a pair of aces if he can just bluff him well enough. So exercise, diet, and so forth will take a poor genetics and give you a good outcome. And the key to that has always been exercise, because exercise helps depression, it helps cancer prevention, it helps heart disease. Put up that. You got that one? Okay, now I don't expect anybody to read it, but this says the impact of exercise on chemotherapeutic completion rate. That means how well patients go through the entire planned course. A systematic review of the evidence and recommendations for future exercise oncology research. Okay, so this article was published this past week, but these types of articles, you can pull that down, Ronnie. These types of articles have been being published for years. We have patients that when they come in for treatment, and I'm treating a lady now that's 80 years old, who, when she came in for her first visit, before she even had her surgery for breast cancer and began treatment, I always ask, what do you do for fun? She says, well, I'll go to the gym every day and I play pickleball 4 afternoons a week for 2 hours. 80 years old. 80 years old.
Great stuff.
So we sat down with her when we started, before she began, well, if she had surgery, she could play pickleball for a week. Lumpectomy and axillary dissection, she was back on the pickleball court in a week. That tells you what kind of woman this was. So we sat down with that woman and we laid out a program of how she could get her exercise sessions in, how she could get her pickleball in, and get the blood count she needed and get chemotherapy missing the fewest number of things. And so she had to change her pickleball from 4 times a week to 3 times a week, and she had to cut her gym thing down and missed 3 sessions a week of the gym, and she said, and she literally made a calendar. So this family here, I would have thought way out then, would have been given advice about diet, advice about emotion. Somebody's going to have to help her with her housework because she's going to be off at the doctor's office, and somebody should go out with her for this number of minutes of walking or get her to the gym for biking or whatever level that person is capable of. Exercise would have been part of it from the beginning, rather than how can I help her get her strength back after chemo. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So just to kind of capsulize, the modalities of treatment and the ongoing treatment should be established way on the front end.
Correct. That's a combined modality group. Yesterday, I had a patient who I got a nutritional consult now, hadn't even started treatment yet.
Right.
What you're going to expect, because they end up needing to have a feeding tube.
Right.
As we were taking a history, we got a history of 3 different kinds of cancer in the generation above him. Not all breasts, and 2 different kinds in his generation. Well, that sounds more than random, doesn't it?
Yep.
So I ordered a genetics consultation for the guy. At the same time that we're doing a PET scan, and we haven't even started treatment yet. So before this guy even gets into it, he's got the nutritionist on the board. He and his family are getting, oh my gosh, because they're getting all the support they can get from a blinking geneticist who's going to sit them down and take this gigantic history. A lot of that is proactively supporting not only him, but all of his family. And when we get to the point where he's getting whatever drugs he's going to get, it's going to say, look, it's really important that you avoid alcohol, you avoid aspirin, you avoid non-steroidals, or it's very important that you eat a whole bunch of cakes, cookies, and ice cream because we want you to keep your weight up, or it's important that you get some exercise and do this. So we'll be telling him different things depending on what we choose. For example, the lumpectomy and axillary dissection on that 80-year-old woman with the breast cancer who plays pickleball with that arm. She went to physical therapy on the 4th postoperative date for range of motion of her shoulder. So that's, I mean, that's just a simple thing. All right, now that should be enough of that one. What do you think?
But let me tell you, that's good information, though, because, you know, the folks out there, when they hear some of this stuff, it kind of goes like that. But if they can relate to somebody that they maybe are watching on television and know what that person's going through.
Yeah, particularly Alex Trebek. Yeah.
Alex Trebek. I mean, I think that's really, really good information.
Yeah, we had a good discussion here a few weeks ago about brain tumors. And, you know, there's a lot of brain tumors. And wearing this device on the head, remember? Well, I saw a patient the other day at Ingles Supermarket wearing a device on the head, and with the family and everything, and people would ask them about it. And there's a lot more social acceptability.
Social interaction, yeah.
Well, and you see the women with the turbans on their head. They used to all wear a wig, trying to hide the fact they were getting cancer.
Now it's almost a badge of courage.
Almost, yeah. They either got a ball cap on or they got a turban on their head. They said, "Look, I'm getting cancer treatment, and I'm not hiding it from the world." I think that's a good thing. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, second question, and again, this segment is brought to you by North Georgia Cancer Research Center, associated with Northside Hospital. Last week, Ray and I, Dr. Ray Tidman and I, talked in depth about flu shots, how the CDC develops them, and, you know, just kind of the whole genesis of the annual flu shot, and you know, go to the bank. This question is, and
he said
he did.
It's just like surgery. I give my patients the information.
Exactly.
And I let them make their decision.
Right.
Now tell me this isn't a follow-up of that session.
I'm a 60-year-old female, and my daughter says flu shots cause disease and have poisons in them and do not work. And Dr. Whaley will say to that,
baloney. All right.
There you have it. Okay.
Well, okay. Well, we got to get him a pair of BKP glasses because the question says I'm a 67-year-old female.
I thought I said that.
60, you said 60. We got to get him a new pair of glasses.
67, okay.
I keep telling you. All right, show the first one. We're really talking about the severity of this year's. You've got the info on how the CDC makes the vaccine.
The vaccine's out there. They take the top 5. They make this little concoction.
Yeah, I've got some more of that, but I mean, I'm just going to touch on it at the end. But anyway, so put that first one up, Ronnie. What does that say?
The flu forecast.
All right.
Flu season is approaching.
Okay, all right. Now just leave it up there. Are you ready, it says. Okay. Now you remember when the hurricane season starts, NOAA, whoever that is, says we predict 11 named storms this year. It ain't a storm out there yet, right? Well, how are they making that prediction? All right. The question is, well, how do they have the foggiest idea what the flu season is going to be like? Lonnie, show number 2. We're going to put this up for just a minute because there is so much misinformation out there. Lonnie, I want you to listen to this. Every time your nose runs,
my nose is running now.
Every time you get a headache or a temperature of 99, you do not have the flu. There are approximately 100 viruses that cause a cold-like, flu-like mild illness. I mean, Zika, everything else that's more severe. The flu is basically sort of like dengue fever. You have a real fever. You hurt like you've been banged with a daggum 2x4. You have a real headache. So you don't even worry about the flu until it's so important in cancer patients, immune suppressed patients, and patients over the age of Tylenol and ibuprofen. What does it say?
Get treatment within 48 hours.
If you don't start treatment with Tamiflu within 48 hours, It ain't going to work. And you are going to have the same amount of flu for the same length of time you would have had anyway. All right. Now, we're going to get rid of both of those. Show him that map, Lonnie. This is last year's flu epidemic. See that bright red color right there?
Yes, sir.
What does that say? Flu activity at the very highest. That was the very top. What color is Georgia?
That'd be red.
That'd be bright red. That was last year's flu. We had a severe epidemic of flu in the Georgia last year. If you saw that map from the year before, what color was Georgia?
I don't remember.
It was bright red. Now, Lonnie, the next question. Here, how did those guys at NOAA predict 11 numbers of storms? I have no idea. Here is how we're going to ready to tell you you're going to have a hell of a high flu epidemic this year. Why do I know that? What? No. The flu epidemic has already started. Where did it start?
Down under.
Down under. It starts.
Australia.
It starts in the southern hemisphere. It's springtime down there, boys. It's April for them. Now, this is, watch this. This is May 19, June. That is the flu epidemic in Australia compared to the last 10 years. You see that black line, Lonnie? Does that show the top line? All you got to know is that's flu activity compared to the last 10 years. Well, look where it is between January of 19 and May of 19. May is just a couple months ago. It was right along the level that it's always predicted to be. It has just spiked. That flu epidemic will be in this country in how long? A couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Couple of weeks. All right. Now,
so the takeaway from that is
it's coming. And if you just use the history here, it's going to come to Georgia big time. All right. Next, throw that next one. This is a brief thing of the fatality rates. Now, how many people, we could just pull that down, how many people die of the flu in the average year in the United States?
Dr. Whaley,
I've said it before.
Shooting in the dark.
Shoot it.
5,000.
30. How many died last year?
30?
80.
Yike.
80,000 people died.
Nationwide.
Nationwide.
Or worldwide.
No, nationwide.
Nationwide.
Okay, now that is people of our age who aren't as in good a shape as a teenager, or the people who have some diabetes or something like that. There is no fatality rate to taking the flu shot. There's basically no expense to taking the flu shot. I mean, you get it free at the public health service. We've already missed it, but around here, 1 week they were giving them away free at the banks. You know, another week they were giving them away free at the health centers and everything. So if you'd paid attention, I think last week and the week before last, you could have gotten free flu shots around North Georgia.
All right, full transparency here.
All right.
I took your advice and I got the 2-stage shingle shot.
Oh, good. You're going to be in great shape for that.
Now, as I said last week with Dr. Tidman, I've never had a flu shot in my life. But then again, I've never had the flu, so I don't know whether it's chicken, egg, or egg chicken. However, you got me a little bit nervous.
Okay. Now,
should I be?
I would be nervous. I want to say a little bit about the flu vaccines. Put up that next thing. Ray gave you the Reader's Digest edition of the.
Man, this is not a thumbnail sketch here, folks.
Well, anyway, so he gave you what you really needed to know, and that is that there are about 5 different ways you can give the vaccine this year, including a live one you can sniff in your nose you don't want. You're over 65, over 60. I'm over 60.
I'm way over 65.
Well, all 4 of us adults here are over 65. We should get the high-potency, multivalent flu vaccine. They are not made in eggs anymore. So you can't go in there and say, oh, I got an egg allergy, I can't take it. They aren't done in eggs anymore. So that excuse will not work. And
what do we ask for?
You just ask for the big boy flu shot.
Big boy flu shot.
Or I'm 65.
I'm a big boy.
I want the 65-year-old flu shot,
Okay.
and it ought to cost you $10 or something like that
Okay.
with your Medicare, or maybe nothing with Medicare. I mean, I don't know. I'm not on Medicare. Well, you know, we could. Back in the day, I used to bring flu shots home, give them to the hockey team. I mean, why do the Braves and the NFL and all that give every player a flu shot? They don't give them a choice.
No.
Okay, you'll remember.
got a lot to
You'll
embrace.
remember the next to last year that the Thrashers were here. The Montreal Canadiens had to bring up a minor league team
I remember.
to play 2 games because over half their team was incapacitated. They just brought up a minor league team, put on Montreal jerseys, and played 2 games.
There you go.
So, if you have a business that depends on people being there, and you don't want 10 or 15% of them out with a temperature of 103, you give flu shots for free. Delta gives them for free. UPS gives them for free. That should tell you something. If a big business gives them to everybody for free, it's worth taking.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right. Now we got to get on the news because I know we're
gotta
running
get on
out
the
of
news 'cause
time.
We got to get out of here. All right.
I got the people that
I don't know the exact verbiage that BKP uses, but he said, you know, every week we end this segment with Doc getting into the news and telling us what is absolutely cutting edge current stuff.
Right, and this is flashback. Okay, now I don't put these. This comes right out of the. This is the exact order that the news articles. By the way, there are 4,000 news articles this week. We're just going to look at the top half of them here. I mean, top few of them here. What's the top one say? And you heard it first on this program about 6 months ago.
More U.S. teens vaping nicotine.
All right.
Media giants pull e-cigarette ads. New York State first to ban flavored e-cigarettes.
The first five news things this week are related to that vaping business. We began way back when they had the problem here in the high schools last spring. There have been 9 deaths as of today that are officially related to this because the CDC is in the ICU with those people. They believe there are probably hundreds more. There are 800 people out there with the diagnosed disease, many of them in the hospital on ventilators. Most of them are young. I mean teenagers and young adults, and there are going to be a whole bunch more deaths. So I'm going to tell you, you're going to see this vaping industry drop off like crazy. It may well be that they ban e-cigarettes, or I mean, it's really a big deal. And so you got a teenager around here going to the 7-Eleven and buying a thing that looks like a computer stick and sucking that stuff. You need to snatch it out of his hand and snatch him bald-headed.
We need to do a whole segment on this because the questions I've got are just off.
Yeah, they're legion, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, I've been talking way back when they asked the Doctor Radio program 30 years ago, and the cell phones were just coming out, and I was telling people, take the cell phones away. I want you to read just that headline right there.
Intense gaming can trigger irregular heartbeat, fainting in some players. Did you hear that, Lonnie? Intense gaming. I asked him this morning, he doesn't do any gaming, does he? He said, oh. There's your candidate across the hall.
Okay. The epidemic in young women, like Destiny's age there, is that they take their phone to bed with them and then they text in the nighttime, and they get poor sleep. So their sleep is not good because at 3 a.m. some friend texts them some darn thing. And that's why the phone ought to stay out there with mama from 9 o'clock at night till the after breakfast in the morning. And that thing, the phone for those adolescents and young people is to call emergencies, to call home when your ride doesn't show up, not to stay up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, I've got grandkids that watch stuff on things and play with this. But there are people who become addicted to this gaming to the point that they do games longer than 30 minutes a day. I mean, some of them might do it an hour a day. Is that 2 hours a day?
Some on off days, 3. On off days, 3 or 4.
On an off day, 3 or 4 hours. Okay, well, the point I'm making here is that this actually has a physiologic outcome. Now, as I watch these ads, my wife says, "Oh, that's what's it? It's a satanic or something." There's a lot of shooting, and or a lot of stuff, and they jump out and they well, that raises your heart rate and raises your blood pressure because it's just like you were out there in the street having a fight for your life, and it can cause cardiac arrhythmias, it can cause anxiety, it can cause anxiety disorders and interfere with your sleep. Is that because you've been over so much? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kids are getting bent necks, bending over too much. All right. That's yeah. Oh, I didn't know something else. All right. So that's enough news. We don't want to cut into the expert panel here.
Well, anyway, this is really, really good stuff, and I guess I'm going to get a flu shot.
I hope so.
Based on what they're doing, based on what's going
on. Australia.
In Australia, did you get a flu shot?
Oh, timing. Don't get it too early. I would get mine the last week in September or the first 2 weeks in October. Well, we're there now.
We're there.
Back in August, I said, don't get it yet.
Okay.
And the CDC said, don't get it in August or the first 2 weeks of September, so now you can get it.
Okay. All right.
Go to Australia for 6 months.
Yeah. It's always good to have Dr. Whaley back. He brings such great information, and we covered a lot of ground today. Again, this segment was brought to you by North Georgia Cancer Research Center associated with Northside Hospital. Good to have you back.
Thank you
Great
back.
segment today.
No train whistle today.
No train whistle today. No delivery man. We're saving that for the all-star panel. Anyway, Bruce and Jane will be with us here after the break. So, Lonnie, appreciate you being here. Take us to break.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
3 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hey, we're back. We've got the all-star panel with us here. Jane is back from Italy. Bruce is back from Pony Ghost Trail.
Just down the mountain, folks.
Just down the mountain. We're starting to see the town come alive a little bit. We got blues and barbecue this weekend. It's going to be really raucous down here. A lot of folks coming in for this festival. And so it looks like it's going to be phenomenal weather.
Where are they going to hold that?
They hold that down in front of the courthouse.
Oh,
and put
okay.
a big stage down there, and it goes for 2 days. And I'll tell you what, people come from all over the place because it's getting a reputation of some pretty good jazz and blues players.
Do all the barbecue places have
They
their
participate,
kiosks there?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of sponsorship.
Mics.
Down
You got to have mics.
there. Yeah.
Love mics.
Anyway,
I do too. Mike's is the best.
so Jane, you're fresh back from Italy.
Si.
Bill said that the only word he remembered was prego, 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 and prosciutto.
Vino.
Vino.
I remember that.
So you had meat and wine. Good.
A lot of cheese.
Formaggio.
Uh-huh.
Any funny stories going on over there?
There's one funny thing that happened. There's this place that has these falls coming from
Waterfalls.
up there. Yes,
The Alps.
they're gorgeous and they're turquoise. And then you get into some things where it's terraced and people sit in these areas here and let the sulfur soak in and all that. So I've heard about it forever. So there we go.
There we go.
4 of us, all 70, 71, 79 and 4 quarters, which y'all must be. So here we go, and we get there, and every single person, whether they were 70 or 6, were in these G-string swimsuits, these little bitty things, and here we walk in. You have to wear shoes in there. I didn't know that. So they all had their little funny shoes. I had on my gray lace-up things. I had on
REI.
Yeah. And I had on jogging pants about down to here.
That girl.
I mean, and then all of us were, dressed up. I mean, Bill's swim trunks. So we walk in, and everyone's floating. You can kind of float in there. And then my shoes would rise to the top. And it'd be these laces and these big kind of hiking shoe things. And we looked like we were ready for the winter snows compared to them. I never saw so much skin in my life. But we stuck out, and we were gawking at people. Think, oh my gosh! But they were gawking, and I said, "Who are they?"
Yeah, right.
Americans.
I know. Look at
the
those guys.
Americans are here. Look at the way they're dressed.
We laughed. Normally it'd have been embarrassing, but I'll tell you, those people over there have little swimsuits.
So you guys were the only modest bones in the
place,
huh?
Yeah.
Now, where are the pictures?
Yeah.
Come on, we need to.
I got. Yeah. I didn't have my phone in the water, but just take my word for it.
I guess it would have floated.
They were half naked. Yeah.
Well, anyway, as we always say on Friday morning, geez, I don't know if we're going to have anything to talk about today. What's in the news, right? Let's see. Is it the WAPO story about the whistleblower with Trump? Is it the Lewandowski hearing with the Bullfrog Nadler? Is it Ed Buck, that maggot out in L.A., finally being arrested? I'm going to go into that a little bit and tell you who his donor list is.
The Egg Buck.
Great!
You're going to love this.
Yeah.
Where do you guys want to start? I'm going to throw it to the floor.
Well, the Kavanaugh thing. I mean, you have not seen a more blatant, grabbing of straws than what the Democrats are going through with this. It reminds me of the enthusiasm they had for the Russia collusion story. They go, headline, all this stuff is going on. We have this whistleblower who heard Trump supposedly, allegedly, promise something to a foreign leader on a phone call.
Something to some foreign leader.
Yeah.
Where have you heard that before, Ilhan Omar?
Yeah, really.
Some people did something to somebody.
Yeah, and it goes back to, remember Obama talking to, Medvedev? He says, well, tell Vlad I can be more flexible in my second administration.
That's a leader talking to another leader, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's sort of like, a
and that's collusion.
Yeah, and
really?
And that was fine. No big deal.
No big deal.
Let me just
passed
ask
without a hiccup.
Let me just ask a broad question to you guys. Is all of this going on? Is the potential of all of this going on to try to deflect from the real stuff that's coming down with the IG report and with the John Durham report?
I think to a degree. I think to a degree, but I think it's also the fact that they are going nowhere in the polls. They got nothing to run on, and I think they're just trying to find issues that's going to stir up the base.
Well, we've been saying all along they do not have an electable candidate.
No.
They do not have a candidate that legitimately can step up and beat Trump. Biden has fallen like a rock, even though he's still tops in the polls. His popularity has fallen like a rock because you can't remember what his middle name is from day to day.
Kamala Harris is tanking. Pete Buttigieg is having
issues.
Please.
The only three are the big, Biden,
Warren,
Bernie, and Warren.
And Elizabeth Warren. She's third, actually, in who can actually beat Trump. That list goes Biden,
but
Sanders, Warren.
I thought that's how they were stacked up in the polls. Too.
Well,
is it?
Well, yeah,
I don't know. It changes day to day.
But I mean, that poll I think is another one they worry about.
Right.
That no one's believing that poll.
Yeah.
I mean,
after the election, the presidential election, when Hillary was a landslide the last 20 minutes.
Well,
the way they reported
it.
We
missed that.
Well, let's go back to the Kavanaugh thing and beat that one to a pulp, and then we'll move on. So, the New York Times comes out and they have another bombshell that's fallen flat on their face, and they've got Kavanaugh saying that he would meet with those editors, reporters
who wrote. Who are these women that wrote this book? And why do you think there's hoopty-daws coming out now? They want to sell books.
Exactly.
It's absurd on the face of it that another unidentified woman who turns out doesn't even want to talk about it, doesn't even remember it, and somehow they made that the basis of this book.
And once again, they have absolutely
how brain dead can they be?
They've got no shame at all. When I say the Democrats have no shame of ruining people's lives. Go back to General Flynn.
The means justify the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
sucks.
collateral damage to these people.
Yeah.
We got to get to an end, and we don't care who we step on. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think maybe that the book deal was just a perk because of the plans and the conspiracy to bring this up on Kavanaugh again just to make more problems. And they said, look, if you go ahead and say this, if we write this book, if you say you spent 10 hours trying to remember and poof, you remembered, then look, then you'll have a book and you'll have all this money. I mean, that was kind of like, that could be kind of like the reward for them coming back up and getting in the fray.
That's muckraking.
Yeah, that's just in theory.
These are two no-name New York Times reporters. Reporters.
What about the woman,
that, had their day job reporting, and then they got to go out and make extra money with a salacious book that doesn't stand the test of
anything.
Well,
of anything.
Yeah. Anyway.
But it's kind of what they do.
It's just another attempt to put an asterisk next to Kavanaugh's name when any vote comes up. Yeah. It's an attempt to intimidate him into voting the way they want the vote to come out.
That's the...
Yeah, because the diehards believe that he wasn't fully vetted. The Blasey Ford and other women's stories were not vetted by the FBI.
That's Kamala Harris's mantra.
Yeah, but the bottom line is Roe versus Wade. I mean, they want abortion to continue under any circumstances, and they'll jump off the Brooklyn Bridge, keep it going.
Yeah, to make that happen and protect that. Yeah.
Corey Lewandowski. Corey Lewandowski really, I mean...
I was impressed. Oh, you didn't see it?
No, I did see it.
I didn't see it.
I saw a good bit of it. If nothing else, I saw all the fiery high points. And,
yeah, that's what you need.
I saw some outtakes with him and Sheila Grant Lee or whatever her name. Sheila Jackson Lee.
Yeah.
Oh, she was embarrassing.
Boy, was she.
I love the give and take. She gets done with this whole diatribe, and he says, "Will you repeat the question?" I don't think there was a question. Yes, there was a question. She said, "Will you?" All I heard was a rant.
Yeah. She says, "Will you answer the question?" And he said, "What was the question?" Yeah. I don't think there wasn't a question. And then "Will you answer the question?" He said it was just a rant or something.
He thoroughly frustrated the Democrats and made them look like damn fools in my mind.
Jim Jordan was great.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard his little...
No,
Nadler was so frustrated. Let me tell you, the guy that was really good was our representative.
Doug Collins. Woo, he's always good.
Doug Collins stood up and he basically said, I moved to terminate the whole hearing, and then they had a voice vote, call for roll, and all they were doing was just chewing time and filibustering. And I mean that, but again, Corey Lewandowski, but this is his third time in front of some kind of a committee, and how many hours has he put into this thing?
20 hours.
Right.
Of actual testifying, not to mention preparation.
So anyway,
that's what they do. I mean, that's all they're doing now. They're just wasting time. They're not doing anything. In any of those constituencies that elected those people, you should really ask for your money back because they're not doing a damn thing.
You know the old statement, it's the economy, stupid, and it really is the economy. And how can you say, I've heard one of them say, I'm going to make this economy great again. I'm thinking, where have you been, under a rock?
Well, to Bruce's point, they don't have anything to run on.
Right, they don't, so they have to conjure this stuff up. There are a lot of Democrats that are jumping ship, though. I mean, you don't hear about it unless you go on YouTube and you listen to them.
When you say jumping ship, what do you mean?
Jumping off the Democratic Party. I mean, they're just fed up. And you hear a lot of that, especially the African-American community.
Oh.
They are really pushing for Trump, the ones that... I don't see how they say Trump's behind Biden in the basic polls.
Let me tell you, Biden's the only shot they've got because Biden's the only one that can attract...
Yeah.
I believe that Biden's the only one of that whole group that even Kamala Harris can attract the black vote. Warren hasn't been able to do it.
Warren is so hard.
Sanders hasn't been able to identify with anything in the black community, Bruce.
But when they finally zero down to one, whoever it is, like good Democrats, will they line up behind them? Because Democrats do that much better than Republicans.
Yeah,
Republicans tend to splinter and go with their favorite neo-libertarian or like arch-conservative. Democrats get in line better than Republicans do.
Well,
so
the Drudge report came out and said that if he was a betting person, that he's Warren is the candidate. Warren will be the Democrat nominee for president.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
Someone said she reminds you of your third grade teacher, and she really does. Think about it.
That's what I said last week.
Oh.
No, seriously.
I didn't see it.
At the wrong time of the month.
Yeah, I mean, she comes in there with the red sweater,
jumping around like some kind of kid that has
polio,
had
vaccine,
sugar and
yeah.
chocolate milk. Now they don't want you to drink chocolate milk in
That's
California.
another story.
God bless America.
We don't have
Here's
time
my
for that.
theory. My theory is, first of all, they put Biden out there, and there he is. He's doing well.
Uncle Joe.
Yeah, Uncle Joe. Oh, jeez, God. And then you see
We
all
start
this.
leaning toward you and sniffing
I know.
hair.
Ooh, God, you
give
know.
us both a smack.
I will. So they're all for him. The party's for him. Yes, he's good. Donna, who's the
Donna Brazile.
Brazile saying but she didn't say it, but she sort of said it. So I'm thinking they aren't stupid. So why are they supporting Biden when he's an idiot? He couldn't run the country if he had to. I never mince words. So I'm thinking, why would they do it? Here's one reason they may be doing it. If they think actually he's the only one who can beat Trump. So let's say he wins. He's not going to be able to do it. He's going to have to resign for medical issues. That could be this is a weird thing, but I'm thinking he has to resign so whomever they put as his running mate is actually going to run the country. So just think about that. It's pretty devious, but they're not beyond that.
Yeah, but they're pushing him, because he's the bearer of the Obama legacy. That is like, the best arrow he has in his quiver.
Some of them think he's
the
still the
standard
best
bearer or the
candidate.
pallbearer?
Both.
That's funny.
Both. So.
Well, it's going to be interesting.
Did you see the piece that the Trump campaign put together about the little snippets of all of Biden's gaffes?
Yeah.
Did you see most of them? They came off of a CNN telecast. It's just amazing some of the stuff that he...
Keep the record player on.
That's the most bizarre thing I can
you'd have to go to a little town antique show to find a record player.
I just threw two of mine out this year.
Oh, you better call him up. He's going to want
And we
one.
sold out of our vinyl records, too. That's another story for another day.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But then he said, I'm going to, put $720 million in women to work. Joe, do the math. Do the
That
math.
is so funny.
There's only 330 million of us. And even if, you do a split, that's only...
yeah, but that includes the aliens now that the Navy is
165 million
talking
women.
about. That's...
That's how many are really here? Another 350
They didn't say
million?
how many aliens, but they're getting to the point where, yes, there are UFOs. Here they are. We're admitting it. And then it's going to go way down
He
a
wants to
rabbit
play
hole.
catch up with China, so badly. We need more people. Well, let's just throw some numbers out there.
What is Elizabeth Warren going to do to defend some of the economic results of her proposed policies? Trump will just eat her lunch.
Eat her lunch.
Well, even before she gets to Trump, why aren't any of these astute news people pressing her on this? And when she dances on it, drill her again.
Well,
that's the rub.
Elizabeth, you got to have some numbers here. You can't just talk out of your ear.
Well, I don't know if you saw the clips of her appearing on the Colbert.
Yeah, he really shot.
She didn't
some
answer.
questions. Well, she doesn't have an
He
answer.
methodically went there, though, and made
did.
her... And she couldn't answer the question as to how she's going to pay for it, and will the middle class have increases?
In their taxes, yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
so the middle class is going to get free meds? And she said yes, and he said, but their taxes are going to go way up. In other words, they're going to pay for it. And then she starts blubbering around.
Well, she did the double take. And,
Yeah.
the typical thing is, no, wait. No, here's the real story. She just totally bifurcates.
Here's who's going to benefit, you know,
Yeah.
and she goes into a part of it that has nothing to do with the question.
Right.
But every time she's on stage, she always gets out something about large corporations. Well, excuse me. Large
worked for
corporations employ a lot of people. They pay a lot of taxes. The people that work for them pay a lot of taxes. if you go breaking up large corporations, what's this country
Hell,
going to look like?
That is classic trickle-down economics.
I mean,
I believe in trickle-down. Do you?
Yes.
Well, we can't.
Yeah, large corporations, whether they be banks, oil companies, pharmaceutical companies, insurance companies,
Costco,
auto
Walmart,
companies.
all those.
What is going to replace large corporations? Bernie's done the
Famine
same thing.
and depression.
Yeah, Civil War.
That's what'll replace.
There's a statistic that came out yesterday on the Rush Limbaugh show that said that if Bernie was able to implement Medicare for all, there's not enough. He will send the entire world, not the country, the world, into not a recession, a depression. Because there's absolutely no way to pay for any of the stuff that he is proposing. And what's so sad is that the mainstream media does not take and do normal vetting on a Democrat like they do on the Republicans and bring this stuff to light. Let people know what this is going to cost them, what it's going to do to the economy, what is it going to do to education. Free education for all. Who's paying for that stuff?
Don't forget, we're paying for all that stuff with printed money.
3 minutes.
Oh.
I guess.
3 minutes?
To a break.
Oh.
Okay. I guess we're getting a high
So,
sign.
so we are
Destiny.
we're paying with printed money. I mean, we're not, the money's worthless. You might as well, basically, and unless we get back on the gold standard. And people are saying Trump's going to take down the Fed. I mean, they've killed a lot of people that try to take down the Fed, literally. And so, but I think it was China that printed another something $1 trillion. Just let's get the presses. We did the same thing.
Yeah, they're in deeper doo-doo than us.
They are. They're in real. And Joe said, "Oh, well, yeah, but they are. But they're stealing our stuff." Someone said, "If they're so smart, why are they stealing all our technology?"
And I don't know, but one of the top economic guys said that if Elizabeth Warren gets elected, the stock market won't even open. Think about that, folks.
Afraid of the free fall, huh?
Yeah.
Talk about a civil war.
It'll be brutal.
Yeah. About 6 months after they get in, we're going to have bloodshed. I'm telling you, it will be bad.
You know, we probably ought to take a little break here for the cause, but when we come back, you know, the elephant in the room is still Iran right now. I mean, I think that situation is looming larger than a lot of people give it credit. I don't know if you agree with that, but there's something going on with the Saudis. It's not just...
And the Houthis.
The what?
The Houthis.
Yeah.
The rebels.
Yemen, the Straits of Hormuz, 5% of the oil supply, you know.
The Iraqis.
Going bye-bye.
The Israelis. Yeah.
And we can talk about Netanyahu trying to hold...
that's a mess.
He's clinging to false hope. So why don't we... Lonnie, should we take a break here? Is this a good time? Let's take a break here. When we come back, we're going to touch on some of the Iran things. We're going to get to Ed Buck and the cesspool out in West Hollywood. I'm going to cover that. I'm going to tell you who he supports. So anyway, Destiny's with us this morning. She's on the helm, and Lonnie's giving her guidance over there. So Destiny, how about taking us to break?
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hi, I'm Rose on to the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ella next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ella next to Walmart.
Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ella, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
Folks, we are back.
Thank God we're
back. Know, the outtakes would be precious because what you missed was we were doing a full throttle version of Kokomo by the Beach Boys. I don't know where that came up from, but you heard it.
Came up from Lonnie. That's where it came up from.
Yeah, I know, right?
He sang the other song first.
I don't want to go there. It was a takeoff on Barbara Ann, I might add.
Yeah.
Anyway, but let's see where we go. You know what? I got
breaking news.
I got to acknowledge Brian this week because he had a really funny segment at the beginning of his show, and as many of you know from Brian's broadcast, the Governor Kemp has put out an APB, an all points bulletin, saying that if you submit your resume, you too can apply for the senatorship in the state of Georgia. So Brian,
because Johnny Isaacson is retiring.
Johnny Isaacson's retiring, yeah. So in Brian and we want to first to be cutting edge here. our own District 6 representative, and his name is
Doug Collins.
Doug Collins
District 7
has submitted his resume
Fill in the
to
blank.
become the next senator from the state of Georgia. So good luck to our 6th district. We will miss you if you are appointed, but we know you will do a phenomenal job in the Senate, and good luck to you, Representative Collins. So,
Is he 6 or 7? Lonnie, do you know? District 6 or 7?
It's
We'll get back to you.
One of the two, but I got a 50-50 shot at this one, right?
There you go.
He's our district.
Before we went away to break, we talked about the elephant in the room, Iran, and what the implications are. Will the president take retaliation? I know the neocons like Bolton are saying, go get him, let's get into another fight. In my mind, we don't need another war.
No.
Bruce?
I don't think we need a war, but I think some sort of response is going to happen. But the suave way to do it would be to do it through the Saudis. They're the ones whose country got bombed and attacked and all that. So they have a lot of U.S. military hardware. So do something through the Saudis, and I think that's the way to go.
We've all seen some of the drone pieces that they've collected.
Yeah.
You see the pictures of that, and apparently they are tracing it back to.
Yeah, I mean, there's all
Iran.
kinds of stamped numbers on those things, so they know where they came from. I think
The question is, they know that they were Iran-based, but was Iran responsible for that attack, or did someone else do it on their behalf?
Some say it was a false flag.
I think they have the satellite
That's around.
imagery and everything that they got launched from the north, from Iran. I think they know where they came from. So, Ninth
The
District.
9th district. Sorry,
Okay.
I said 6th.
What district
We
are
said
we?
7th. He's going to be the 9th district guy. Okay, thanks for that update, Lonnie.
Yeah.
That's he represents the 9th district.
Yeah. Which is right here.
Yeah.
Sorry about
Okay.
sorry I misspoke.
Brian's going to have our.
I know. I'm going to get fired.
Sorry, Brian.
Anyway,
So there's satellite imagery that can pretty much pinpoint it. The question is then, does the Saudis do something across the border, and that remains to be seen.
I mean, the Saudis are so vulnerable with all of their refineries and everything like that.
Well, it was a wake-up call because they said drone attacks like this are a relatively new thing in war. So the technology to track drones is growing. So it's not real perfect as it is now. So even the best technology, it's hard to detect drones.
Those things are pretty good size.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, you could see by the hardware that was.
Well, and they said some of them are not a drone; they're like actually a cruise missile. So
yeah,
you got that going on. So I think this will be a wake-up call for the Saudis to, increase the protection around their oil processing facilities.
So y'all are talking all above ground?
Yes.
Down in the wormholes, deep down there are other rumblings going on and possibilities.
All right, let's hear it.
And that is that
we always bring you every side of the story, whether it's the rabbit hole or whether it's up in the air.
Y'all can go do your own research. That's what's fun about it all.
False flag, is that where you're going?
Well, here we just were talking about the Dems are pulling up things on Kavanaugh and all this stuff. If there's a war, that's going to really hurt Trump.
Yes.
And
if there's a recession, it's going to
hurt Trump. And so both of those things can happen. And a war, they want a war. Of course, the cabal, the deep state, has always gotten very wealthy on war, from the First World War to all the way through.
How many times have we said that on the
When
panel?
they run out of money, let's start a war. We replenish our tills. What is it? So a lot of people think whomever, it was a contrived situation, not just. It was for the election to get us in a war, and Trump knows that. I have no doubt that he knows that. But you can't talk with the source again, the guy that starts with a Q, because his channels, the channels down that he would communicate on, so he can't communicate.
But I thought he was using a back channel.
Well, 8chan was the back. You mean 4chan came first, then 8chan, and then 8chan's down. Have they done a?
Oh, I don't know.
12chan? 8chan's down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I need to Google that.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Anyway.
there's a lot of moving pieces there because you just had
There's a lot of
the
moving
Israeli
pieces.
election, which is basically a draw. So either Netanyahu and Gantz have to form a coalition, and depends who wants to be, the PM.
Who's Gantz? Is he a liberal, or how is he different? I don't know his philosophy or his stance as opposed to Netanyahu. What is he?
Yeah, he's more liberal. Yeah,
that means
but
he wants
not
to
not
give,
radically liberal, but
he
more
wants
liberal.
to give more to Palestine. Is that what he wants to do?
I think they
I don't
want to have a
know.
more measured approach with the Palestinians, and be more susceptible to outside influences,
Yeah.
from the UN and folks like that.
Oh,
Correct me
Lord.
if I'm wrong. Now they've declared the election basically a dead heat, so they got
Yeah.
two choices. They can either go back and have another election, or the president decides which one will be the prime minister.
Yep.
No.
I thought it said that last night. No, tell us.
The two Netanyahu and Gantz, who's the other guy.
Those are the two that are deadlocked.
Yeah. Their two parties have to form a coalition.
They have to?
Well, they have to try to. Okay, and if they can't agree who's going to be prime minister, and they probably won't, then there will be another election.
Oh, well, I heard
that the president picks
Right.
one of the two.
It definitely said that.
The president controls some of the other smaller parties. And, there's talking about if you can't, call, I think Gantz is the blue and white party, and Netanyahu is the Likud. And if they can't come together, then there's all these other little parties you could pick up and, make a coalition.
Okay.
And some of them would include the Arab Party, and nobody wants to do a coalition with the Arab Party because they have become more and more anti-Israel.
Anti-Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while that's going on, there's also the development in Iraq where the Chinese have come in and started investing a bunch of money in rehabilitating their oil fields. So the Chinese are getting a hook in Iraq, because they want the oil output. So you got them there. You have Iran. You have Putin, of course, in the background working with Iran. Yeah, it's a tinderbox.
It always has been.
Yeah, well, it flares, it settles down and everything's calm for a while, and then it boof. So.
Well, if there's any good news, the good news is that we've become energy efficient,
more energy independent.
Energy independent.
Not completely, though.
Yeah.
I thought we were.
No, we have to
Basically
import. We have to
independent.
import some offshore crude just because our refineries have been set up to handle that kind of crude. So a lot of the product that's coming out of fracking and all that can only be handled in certain refineries.
Oh.
The oil companies have been reluctant to change over the processing capability of U.S. refineries to handle all this stuff. So we still need to import sour crude from a lot of these places because our refineries are. Some of our refineries are geared to that.
But that's not defined by the natural resources that we have. It's defined by the business community. Yeah, that's changeable.
Yeah,
right?
the processing part of the barrel. I mean, to be able to process a barrel of oil into gas and things like that, that's the refinery, and that's driven by regulations and, of course, tax law. Who's going to spend $3 billion or more to change their refinery if they're not going to be assured of getting it back? It doesn't happen.
Yeah. Well, we covered Iran pretty well, don't you think?
Yeah, you want to talk about Ed Buck.
Ed Buck. Let me tell you, I've been following this whole thing pretty closely. Ed Buck is a guy who lives in West Hollywood, no visible means of support. He's had one traceable job, I believe, and he sold that company. He lives in a modest apartment. His claim to fame, though, is he's taking young black men, gay men, that are in distress, and he promises them that he will help them. He brings them to his apartment, and it's literally become a death knell for anybody that goes there. So it's just amazing to me that it's taken this long to arrest that maggot. And he is just despicable.
But again, the background is his claim to fame is he's a big donor bundler for the Democratic
He
Party.
started out in Arizona he was a model in Europe, a male model in Europe, came back, got very active in politics in the Arizona area, in Phoenix, was very instrumental in the impeachment of Meacham, I think was the guy's name in Arizona that was the governor. He was corrupt. Anyway, then he moved to West Hollywood, and he's kind of a fixture in that area. And if you know West Hollywood, there's some seedy pockets in there. And let's see, it was in 2017, Jamel Moore, 26 years old, found dead in Ed Buck's apartment. That following January, Tim Dean found dead. Now they have a Joe Doe who went to his apartment, was injected with methamphetamines, and escaped, reported him, and then went back, and apparently is going to be okay. But he's been arrested on federal charges, and he is a mega donor to the Democrats. And I want to list, you're going to love these names. Here is his donor list. Representative Ted Lieu, Representative Adam Schiff, Representative Pete Aguilar, Representative Jerry McNerney, and Representative Jimmy Gomez. His larger gifts included Kristen Sinema, the Arizona senator, as well as the DNC in 2015, Hillary Clinton, and Barack Hussein Obama. So, really, if this guy gets off, it's going to be another travesty like, what's his name? Weinstein. Who's the other guy that was just died in prison?
Epstein.
Yeah, Epstein.
Some say he's not dead.
Anyway, so we're getting a signal here. What do you want me to do? Is that Destiny? You got 1 minute? Okay, we want to do 1 minute, so we got to go winners and losers. Winners and losers are coming up. So
you want to start?
No,
you think about it, Bruce. You go.
Okay, I got my winner.
He thinks about
winner of the week. My home run is. You may have heard of Hillsdale College in Michigan. Yeah. They're a conservative place and very conservative, and just in terms of campuses having all this politically correct language and safe zones and all this. They basically, address this saying speech code at Hillsdale College. It's very simple, and it says, you may assert and defend any argument you conceive as long as you do so in a way that is civil, academic, and conducive to thought and deliberation. So I really congratulate them for having something that most people can understand and live with. My airball is our former president, Barack Hussein Obama, and his wife, Michelle, have joined up with Netflix. This is how they're vaulted into the multi-million-dollar category of folks in the U.S. They just did a movie called American Factory, and it talks about a General Motors factory in Ohio that was closed and has now been reopened by a Chinese company that makes automobile glass. What is not talked about in the documentary, and it's out in the movie theaters, that the president's bailout of General Motors favored United Auto Workers. Unfortunately, this plant was not a United Auto Worker plant. They got closed. So now Obama's making this movie about American business and foreign investment and I'm the hero here, but makes no mention of the fact that his decision on GM essentially forced this plant to close. Pretty bad.
Excellent. We could go on and on about the GM thing and how the stockholders, especially the preferred stockholders, really got screwed.
The bondholders. Yeah.
I don't know about winners and losers, but on this point, if you want something else to go investigate, if you have some spare time, you look at all the book deals. Hillary's was huge on several occasions. Obama's was huge. Now the Netflix things. And someone brought up, how do you launder money? You launder money. I mean, people know that. No, people don't know. It's said that the CIA is involved in bringing Iraq, right? The poppy fields and all that money and cocaine and everything from Mexico. They're all involved in that, and they got this plethora of money. And they launder it through book deals for these people, Netflix deals for these people. And so why aren't, I mean, if I were a journalist, I'd be doing some interviews.
Obama is doing that with the money that Iran got, the $150 billion. He's going like on a tour of Europe and places to give speeches. $750,000 to $900,000. All that money is coming back that way.
That's laundering money.
Yeah,
exactly. My winner of the week is going to be Corey Lewandowski. I thought he did a magnificent job. The president did as well. So, and I'm on that bandwagon. My loser of the week is Beto O'Rourke. He is doubling down on coming to get your guns, folks. He's going to be banging on your door. You know, instead of him campaigning, why doesn't he go to Chicago and figure out how 9 people were killed and 18 people injured with gunfire in the city of Chicago? That guy Beto is an absolute loser, and he really, really needs to drop out because he is not doing the Democrats any favors.
What he's not going to find is those people had registered guns. They're all illegal, and no matter what happens, they're going to have those illegal.
De Blasio dropped out this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's out. I mean, he didn't have a snowball chance of hell. So
I heard that someone dropped out, but I didn't know who it was.
Yep, he can go back and take care of New York now.
Yeah, 20 hours a week. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we're going to have Jesse Barton, our valued Community Relations Director at Cameron Hall in Ellijay, Georgia. So thank you, All-Star Panel.
Yep.
Great discussion this morning. We're going to take a break, so take us out of here, Destiny.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
3 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hey, we are back, folks. We're now finally experiencing the sights and the sounds of a bustling downtown Blue Ridge. We've got the delivery trucks coming in.
Yes.
We've got the train was clanging a little bit ago.
Was it?
It's Blues and Barbecue weekend in Blue Ridge.
I saw that.
Yeah, so we're going to be we're going to be inundated with jazz aficionados and blues aficionados.
And as long as there's good brisket.
And you never can get enough good barbecue, right?
Right?
Yeah. Anyway, we're here, as you can see, with our favorite community relations director, Jesse Barton, from our favorite senior living center, and that would be Cameron Hall in LJ.
You got it.
How are you?
Good. How are you this morning?
You chilly?
I am. I should have brought a jacket, but I'm not complaining because this is beautiful.
It is a beautiful day. It's going to get warmer, so.
Yes.
But you did bring your gorgeous scarf with you.
I just have trouble with jeans casual day.
Is that every Friday at Cameron?
It is. It is. And not that I have a problem with it. There's a certain level that I've grown up knowing that we are supposed to have, so I try to dress my jeans up.
So what you do is you just take that little bit extra, like a pretty scarf,
Makes a
and
difference.
just kind of tidy it up a little bit.
Yes.
Before you were wrapped up like a frozen.
I was. And after you mentioned that about, was I going to do it as a headscarf, I was like, ooh, heat does leave the head. I could put it up there and stay warmer.
Well, anyway, here we got a fan going on. Maybe that's part of the issue.
That's true.
But regardless, so last week we showed the beautiful patch that you earned by going to a class. Refresh our memory in that.
So that one was an at-risk adult crime tactics specialist class. That's
crime
a mouthful.
Crime tactics specialist. Yes, it is.
Yes. So.
And this week we're gonna kind of follow through with that same area of expertise, and we're gonna talk about safe return of patients that suffer from schizophrenia and from Alzheimer's.
Mainly Alzheimer's. So that's actually how I kind of became involved with the public safety and law enforcement aspect of senior care. Is you have so many Maddie's calls. In Georgia, it's called Maddie's calls. And you turn on the news and there's a Maddie's call, or we get the alerts on our phone these days and it's a Maddie's call, missing senior. And so I started finding out that law enforcement agencies don't have a lot of training on this. And so through my research to do my project, I found out about a program called Safe Return through the Alzheimer's Association. So we actually, as a volunteer for the Alzheimer's Association, we bring this to law enforcement departments to let them know that this program is out there so they can also encourage, because many, if they wander once, they may wander off again.
Chances are.
It's statistically higher that they're going to wander off a second time unless there are major interventions that happen. So the Safe Return program is really simple. Families sign up through the Alzheimer's Association. You've seen the medical alert bracelets.
Right.
Tells first responders if you have any issues medically. And so same thing. They can see this bracelet and know that you are a person that's on this registry. There's an 800 number on the bracelet. So if you find someone, they can't tell you what their name is, where they're from, and you notice this bracelet, you can look at that, call that 800 number, and give them the ID number.
Is that, I mean, I don't want to sound cool, but it's almost like a pet chip. I mean, they've got an identifying mark, identifying bracelet that is traceable to an organization, and that way you can facilitate a safe return for that person.
Right. So when you call that number, you have access to that person's information. If you're a law enforcement, you have information. You can get their emergency contact. You can get their medical history. So if you need to take them to the closest emergency room, you've got that medical information. And so it makes a more successful return of the person.
So let me expand on this. So I'm in downtown Blue Ridge, and you learn from that association that if I encounter someone who is obviously lost, confused, you approach the person, you make them feel comfortable.
Sure.
You establish that they probably are suffering from some type of dementia where they don't know where they came from and need to get back safely.
Right.
So what's the next step? Do you call?
I would call law enforcement first, because they're going to be the ones that can facilitate contacting the families if needed. They can transport them to a hospital. So there are ways that the law enforcement can do more than just you or I as a civilian can.
Right. I mean, we encounter a person and all of a sudden we see they're wearing an identifying band on their arm. We don't want to start, ripping around and making them feel agitated.
Because then they're going to be like, they're going to feel like they're attacking me.
Right, exactly. So get your law enforcement involved and, let them know what's going on. And that's great.
Definitely. And it's a great program. There is a small enrollment cost, but to me, peace of mind for a family member is going to be a lot better. And you never know. They may not wander today, but tomorrow there may be something that they may hallucinate that causes them to leave the house. My step-grandmother felt like little people were in her VCR, and I know that sounds crazy and I'm laughing about
Nothing is crazy when it comes to that, that the brain works really, really weird ways.
Those little people in that VCR were so real to her that she left one day, had her telephone in her hand, or her remote in her hand, thinking it was her telephone, and was just walking to get away from these people, and she was going to try to call my stepdad. Luckily, local law enforcement, he was involved in public safety at the time. They knew that was the fire chief's mom, and we need to pick her up and take her somewhere safe.
Gotcha. What in your mind can people... let me ask you this. I'm fascinated by this wristband. Is it consistent in color from the organization? If you notice a wristband that's turquoise...
That's a good question, but it's not. It actually it's like the medical alert bracelets. It just blends in with nice jewelry so people can feel comfortable wearing it. It doesn't say, oh, look at that person, they must have dementia.
I'm thinking of those rubber, the
right,
that everybody's wearing, to honor somebody or to show support.
Exactly.
Is it like that?
It's not. It's more of a metal bracelet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a diabetic may wear.
Yes.
I got you. Okay. I'm sorry.
No. Good question. Great question, because if you're out in a crowd, you may start to look for things like that.
Right.
So it is more just it blends in very nicely, but the information's there if you need it.
Is this part of the service that you provide at Cameron Hall if you have a if you have a resident that that may start to show signs of Alzheimer's, or they come to you? Do you have patients in your census count that?
So we are not what we call I hate the term locked unit, so I would prefer secure neighborhood.
Sure.
So we're not a secure neighborhood in the sense that our residents can come and go.
Okay.
They're free to come and go.
Okay.
So if we start to notice somebody who has those elopement tendencies, or we see they're saying we're going to walk down the street, we're going to really pay close attention to them. We're even going to have some safety interventions that happen. I can always help families get signed up for that program. I have all the information that we can get them signed up.
We've talked in the past about the potential of us doing a show from Cameron Hall.
Yes.
So what I would urge you to, and I would love to do that if I'm ever in a position where I'm hosting for BKP, or even just as the all-star panel coming in.
Sure, we'd love that.
I think it would really, really be fun to set up in an environment where we've got a lot of people out there that we can communicate with and talk to. And I'm sure that there's people that'll love to talk politics.
Oh, you might be in for it on that
one. You may get what you ask for.
You might. Yep.
So, anyway, I think that would be fun, don't you?
I love it. And Brian and I had talked about that, and then I know he had some things come up to where he's had to travel out of town. So maybe we do it this fall under our nice gazebo.
Yeah, as it gets to be a little bit cooler here, and it's maybe not conducive to do the outdoor thing. I know our partners at Circuit World love to have us, but maybe we could try coming to LJ one morning and just
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And
can we get breakfast? Do we have a green room that we can really have good breakfast?
We can have biscuits and gravy. We are having our first responders over on Monday morning for breakfast. So if you want to visit as a visitor and have breakfast with us, you're more than welcome. Local first responders,
you don't have
come
to ask
out.
Lonnie and I twice. We'll be there for breakfast.
It's between 8 and 10.
Biscuits and gravy, right, Lonnie?
And Belgian waffles.
Oh, Belgian waffles.
And omelets. Okay, I'm hungry. Where's breakfast?
It's always great to have Jessie with us. Jessie is, again, the Community Relations Director. She brings us great information representing Cameron Hall. So thank you again.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Great to see you. We miss you, Brian.
We miss you, Brian, anyway. So when we come back, Lonnie's giving us kind of a...
yeah, he's like, I don't know about that.
Anyway, we've got the star of the show, the pet of the week, Sienna. Sienna's going to join us with Rena from the Humane Society of Blue Ridge. So, Destiny, will you please take us to break so we can get ready for Sienna, our all-star pet of the week?
Yes.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Elijah next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Elijah next to Walmart.
Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
go, kids.
Brian.
Way to go.
Not Brian Fisher,
Yeah.
Yes,
her husband,
your
Brian.
Anyway, got it, Jesse. Thank you. Happy anniversary. All right. Speaking of anniversaries, we got a 1-year-old girl here, right?
Yes, we do. Sienna's just about approximately 1 year old. She's going to be a good-sized dog. She's going to be a small dog. She is active.
When she says good size for a home to as an adoptable pet.
Right. For maybe an older person that doesn't want a huge dog, but doesn't really want a small dog. She's going to be like the medium small. And she's still, has puppy in her. She's active. She likes to play with her toys. She loves her treats. She rode very well in the car over here. She likes to go for a walk. She likes to walk and, like I said, play with her toys. And the fan is intriguing to her. Yeah, she is. She's good. She's a good girl.
Every Friday, when I leave the house, my 2 dogs, Sadie and Fan, and they all think, oh my God, he's going to come home with all those smells again. So the dogs are my 2 new best friends when I show up at the house after the show.
There you go, good girl.
Yeah, good.
So she knows how to sit. She plays with Nico. If you remember Nico.
Nico, sure.
Yeah, so she can get along well with another dog.
Baby.
We do require a meet and greet to make sure. But if the other dog gives her any lip, she's going to give it back. So she can hold her own. She's a really sweet dog. I'm really looking for her home. Come here. You want another
She's
tooth?
looking for food.
Yes, come here. Did you not get breakfast this morning? There you go. But she really is a sweet dog, and she's ready to go. You really come on out and see her. I'm still surprised that she's even there because she is so sweet. She does need some training. I mean, we give the basic sit. Maybe sometimes they'll shake, lay down. But like I said, she would be an absolute sweetheart for any home. She is potty trained, so there shouldn't be any accidents. I don't believe she goes in the kennel. I mean, when I say potty trained, that means that she doesn't go in the kennel. We can't say that they're potty trained.
Right.
Every dog can have an accident when they first get to a new home.
Yeah, they're acclimating to new smells and everything.
And the new people, and everything's different. And so, anything can happen. But as far as her being a good girl, she is. And then just with a little patience and some training and get her in a routine, and she'll be really good. You really have to see these beautiful eyes. She has beautiful eyes, don't you?
She's a pretty girl.
Yes, you do.
Got well-trimmed nails. She's ready to rock.
Yeah, she is ready to go. So come on out to the Humane Society of Blue Ridge.
Tell them where we are, Rena.
We are at 171 Mineral Springs Road, which is just off of Aska. They want to see your face, not your butt. Come here. There we go. Come here. Okay, there you go. Sit. And call us at 706-632-4357. Follow us on Facebook, and you'll see lost dogs, found dogs. You'll see our dogs. Go to our website, humanesocietyofblueridge.org, and come on out and see the animal. I lost her squirrel. Monkey. Oh, okay.
There it is.
Come on out and see her, and we have other adoptable animals. Jinx, Juno, Nico. Atlas, I think, has a pre-adoption on him. We have another puppy there that I'm really surprised is still there. Piper is her name. Looks like a little black lab, maybe hound mix. And I brought one from Animal Control Monday, and she's a brindle boxer mix of some sort. Get over here in the camera.
Yeah. Knocking all those pretty pillows down.
And we have cats and kittens really looking for a home. We've got wonderful cats and kittens, so sweet. We have some that are very active, some that'll just love for you to pet them. So we have lots of animals. Come on over and visit.
Come on out to our campus and experience the dog park too.
Mm-hmm, the dog park's there.
We've got 2 separate sections, one for small animals, one for large animals. It's huge. It gets a lot of action out there.
And days like today, that it gets quite busy because it is cool.
It's well maintained, so.
And we are open Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 10 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 2.
Closed Tuesdays.
Tuesdays and Sundays.
Tuesdays and Sundays, yes. We are closed.
Yes.
So.
And we are always looking for volunteers at the Humane Society. With the animals, the thrift store. If you want to help the animals but you don't want to be with the animals, you can always help at the thrift store. There's plenty of things to do to help out with the animals.
Rena, the website again is?
HumaneSocietyofBlueRidge.org.
And if you come to the website, folks, take a look at an event that we've got coming up, Paws in the Park.
That's
We've
right.
got Paws in the Park in October. It's a fun event. We're gonna do dog diving.
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna do the dog diving this year. Where where they throw
Really?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
I
a
didn't know
2-day
that.
event, both Saturday and Sunday.
And we have, I think it's October 6th is Grumpy Old Men, what's it called?
Barktoberfest.
That's it.
We've got Barktoberfest October 6th at Grumpy Old Men. That's a benefit for those of you who are craft beer aficionados. Come out, have a beer, and at the same time you'll be supporting the Humane Society of Blue Ridge.
Yes. Yes.
Rena, thank you as always for bringing out the pet of the week. It's the star of the show, as Brian would say. So
Yes.
we're glad to have you here. Enjoy the cool weather over the weekend.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure
that would
the
be
puppies,
nice.
the dogs will love that.
Oh yes.
So, Destiny, we're glad to have you here today. Lonnie, thank you as always for setting up and doing a great job producing the show. Brian, thank you for letting me sit in and host. So we will enjoy the rest of the weekend here in downtown Blue Ridge, and we are out.